the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Good evening. I'm so happy to welcome you here to the 2025 Clarkson University Convocation. We're going to begin our ceremony with a land acknowledgement read on behalf of the staff, faculty, and students of Clarkson University. Philip White-Cree, Coordinator of Indigenous Community Support and Outreach, will read the Clarkson University Collins Hill Campus land acknowledgement.
As the staff, faculty, and students of the Clarkson community, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people that have taken care of this land before us. We acknowledge we are meeting on traditional territory of the Akwesasne Mohawk and their ancestors. These lands and waterways connect to the vast traditional areas of the Haudenosaunee, Algonquin, Huron-Wyandot, and Abenaki peoples. We recognize and deeply appreciate their connection to this place. These traditional territories were never wholly surrendered and were only claimed by competing French and British crowns and later New York State. As we move towards healing past injustices, we must acknowledge the wrongs that have been done and work towards a unified path of coexistence and prosperity. We also recognize the contribution of the Akwesasne Mohawk, Haudenosaunee, and other Indigenous peoples have made both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and other territories within the country as a whole. I wish to express 3 good words that are spoken when meeting new people for the first time. This is adopted from our Edge of the Woods ceremony and would be spoken to people coming to the area for the first time. And I would address these words to everyone, and now joining for the first time, be them student, faculty, staff, or even president. The first acknowledgement you have traveled is to this place, and there may have been loss or grief. And with that, I metaphorically extend a piece of cloth so that you may wipe the tears from your eyes and you may see us meeting clearly. Second is acknowledging you may have collected dust in your ears from your travels and that you may have blocked or distracted you. So with that, I metaphorically extend an eagle feather and wipe the dust from your ears so you may hear my words. Lastly is acknowledge that on your travels, you may have been emotionally distressed from loss or grief. So with that, I metaphorically give you a cool drink of water to remove the lump in your throat so you may speak clearly. And with that, I acknowledge the challenges and successes that led you to the Clarkson community and welcome you to our campus community. Talk.
Thank you, Philip. The bell you heard ring at the start of this ceremony today has a long history at Clarkson. In 1957, members of the Pi Kappa Phi fraternity salvaged the bell from a burnt-out school in Colton, and for the next few years they hauled it around to sports games on a wagon so that the fraternity members could ring it participating in the activities. They did this at hockey games as well. In 1976, when the Walker Arena was enlarged, the bell was taken from the wagon and given a new home there. Starting in 1968, the bell rang when the university president handed the last diploma to the last senior at commencement, and that tradition continues today, something I got to do last May. In 2016, it was established that the bell was also rung at Convocation, as you just heard, when the Clarkson community opens the new academic year by gathering and welcoming our new and returning students. As some of you may know, in addition to being Clarkson's proud president and new president, I came in April, I am also an astronomer. However, you may not know that I came to be an astronomer accidentally, because astronomy was one of the many things that I stumbled upon when I came to college. It was a previously unknown to me and completely unanticipated curiosity that college put in front of me, and it was only the beginning of many of them that I was going to encounter, as you will as well. So as you embark on this coming year at Clarkson and your college experience, I'd like to share a couple of phrases that were born out of my doing astronomy and that guide me now through life more generally, even to this day. The first phrase is eyes to the skies. This year, like every year in college, you will be filled with challenges and opportunities, hiccups and hoorays, speed teams and speed bumps. It may be easy to get caught up in the pace of too much to do and not enough time to do it. When you face the pace pushing you rather than you setting the pace, I recommend you turn your eyes to the skies. You might see a beautiful cloud formation. Anyone in the room ever lie on the ground for hours trying to find shapes in the clouds? I have. I recommend you do that if it feels like the pace is pushing you. You might see a rainbow. You might see the moon, the northern lights, which is one advantage of coming to college here in the North Country, way up north. You might even catch the eye of a friend walking through one of Clarkson's sky bridges, and they'll offer a wave or a smile. Eyes to the skies. It always makes a difference. When we slow down and turn our eyes to the skies, well, you should slow down when you turn your eyes to the skies or you might trip. The sights you'll take in when you look up will interrupt that pace, and you'll enter the world in a place that's much bigger than what's due at midnight. Eyes to the skies is often how I close my email messages as a frequent reminder for me to do the same. The second guiding phrase I'd offer to you is me and we. The first time I was invited to an astronomy star party, I said yes, but mostly because I enjoy being outdoors. I brought a blanket and I laid on the ground on that blanket, looking up at the star-speckled sky all by myself, and I thought I was all set. But soon someone slipped a pair of binoculars into my hands and said, "Look at that bright one over there." I did, and it looked strange to me. It looked like a planet with ears. "Come on over to the telescope next," they said, and that was the moment that I first saw the planet Saturn. I didn't know it was even possible to see the rings on the planet Saturn until that moment, and I was really grateful for that assist. The rest of that night at that star party played out with voices rising from all around the telescope field. The giant red spot was a really loud cry, and soon I was viewing a storm on the planet Jupiter. I didn't even know there were storms on the planet Jupiter at that time. "I've got the Ring Nebula," someone else cried out, and I ran over, looked at it, and was learning about the life cycle of a dying star. That night, my curiosity grew to encompass the entire universe. I knew absolutely nothing just a few weeks prior, and every day I am so grateful that I did not stay lying on that blanket all by myself. That night, I learned the catalyzing power of me and we. So you're here today, and you've brought the me. and we're really glad you did. I'm thrilled to tell you that you've come to a place, Clarkson, that's really great at the we. And by being here, each of you make this community more rich, and by working together, we're going to help you rise. As you navigate the coming year, remind yourself to say yes to the we. Say yes to learning new things from others. Say yes to sparking new ideas together. And say yes to discoveries that you might not have uncovered all on your own. The power is in the me and the we. So welcome to the family. We're really excited to grow alongside you, to see what you become, and to see what you'll accomplish when we all work together at Clarkson and beyond. So eyes to the skies, Golden Knights. Let's go Tech. I now invite to the podium Vice President of Enrollment and Student Engagement, Brian Grant.
Well, thank you, President Larson. It is a privilege to greet my colleagues, the faculty, staff, and administration at the beginning of the new year, and an absolute pleasure to welcome our new and continuing students back to campus. I'd like to begin by asking our cabinet members, faculty, and staff to stand for a moment of recognition. Thank you for all that you've done and to ensure that the Clarkson family continues to thrive. Thank you. Please be seated. So now it's my turn to welcome you to the Clarkson family, the class of 2029 and our Clarkson school students. Let's try that again. Welcome to the family, Clarkson, class of 2029 and Clarkson school students. To touch a little bit on what Michelle was talking about, you have joined a community, a family, and one that is here to help and support and watch over you through your times. We love to interact with our students. We want you to come to our doors and knock on it and let us know what you need. But part of what we also believe in is caring. Care for yourself, take care of yourself. Take advantage of the beauty of the North Country, but also to care for this institution and to care for your partners and your friends and your roommates. Watch over them at all points. My message to you is simple. You have access to some of the most amazing people, and we are all here at this institution because of you, and we love that interaction and that opportunity. And I think maybe the best way to let you know what you're embarking upon and the opportunities that are in front of you is to do it through my own story. So when I came to Clarkson as a student, I took 4 years off after high school. I walked into physics, calculus, and chemistry, and I was not ready. But thankfully, I was here at Clarkson. I had faculty and staff that gave me their home phone numbers, who came in on evenings and weekends just to help me. Without someone, Kathy Avedikian, she believed in me more than I believed in myself. I survived semester 1 and thrived from that point. So my message to you is take advantage of it. I can't wait for you to tell me who your Kathy Avedikian is after your 4 years on this campus. So I started this by talking about family. And you are our family. And families celebrate together, they work together, they collaborate. So at this point, I'm going to ask some students to come up and join me here on the stage. I need Parker Seitzer to come up. Shelby Gruder. Colton Cushman. And I need Mariska Leshkinski to come forward, please. So they're probably wondering, why did I do this? So what's special about this week for you? You're moving into college, yep, so are they. Anything else? What happened today and yesterday? Is anybody celebrating birthdays? Ah. So what do we do for birthdays in a family? We sing. We celebrate. So I don't have the voice of the young man that sang before, so I need all your help. So, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Clarkson students. Happy birthday to you. So moving on, Alexander Jacob Wilkie was elected mayor of the village of Potsdam in November of 2023. She previously served 4 years as a trustee on the Potsdam Village Board, and prior to that had been on the zoning board, among other local communities and nonprofit boards. Alexandra has background in journalism and originally moved to Potsdam to work in the news as a news reporter before switching careers and putting down roots here. I'm excited to welcome Alex to the podium.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Do you feel that? Do you hear that? That's the sound of a college town coming back to life. Our population is doubling this weekend. You may not have heard of this before, but let me be first to share that the Washington Post has actually rated Potsdam, New York as the 7th collegiest college town in America. And that's because more than 60% of our population is college students once you're all here. And so this is a place for you. Welcome. We're glad to have you. I'm Alexander Jacobs Wilkie. I have the pleasure of being the mayor of the village of Potsdam. I also have the pleasure of being the spouse of a member of the Clarkson family. My husband, Andreas Wilkie, is a member of the psychology faculty. And so it's wonderful to be here to greet our newest Golden Knights. This morning I was at SUNY Potsdam greeting the newest Potsdam Bears. As we gather here together, we are awash in something special, the power of possibility. You all possess acumen, accomplishments, and judgment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I, for one, am in awe at the power of what's possible for each of you. Just think, before long, some of you are going to be lifelong friends. I hope you support each other through your studies. Make time to get downtown for some downtime, too. My advice to you, enjoy the natural beauty all around us in all seasons. Catch a movie, grab a coffee, take a walk in the park. Make some time to hike, bike, or ski the Clarkson trails, or get out of town a bit to explore the Adirondacks. You don't even know it yet, but you are all going to become a role model for a young person. I know for a fact, because I've seen it. You are going to inspire not just your peers, not just your family members, but local children too, like my own, who have loved cheering on the Golden Knights, learning from students at STEM education events, and having fun with you at your club fundraisers and campus celebrations. With your energy and enthusiasm, you can inspire people of all ages to do new things and help one another. Whether that's jumping into the freezing waters of the Racket River for a polar plunge, and yes, I expect to see you there this year, or sponsoring your own pickleball event to raise funds for a soccer program in Zambia. There are so many ways that Clarkson students give back, from volunteering at community cleanup days, to training to be first responders, and it's so hard to even know where to begin. But looking around, I'm certain we have a room full of problem solvers. You are going to solve problems large and small. Research, innovation, and service starts right here, and it extends into the community. We're so fortunate to have expert Clarkson faculty, staff, and students who are willing to help out with our persistent problems, large and small. I just know you're all going to contribute to our community in your time here. Some of you are going to stumble on an idea while you're here that one day might become the basis for a patent or a startup. Others are going to have your first brush with entrepreneurship this year, this semester. Remember, Clarkson has the resources to help you launch your business and refine your research. And once you graduate, please come back anytime, whether for a visit or to settle down. Many of our local businesses and institutions owe their successes to Clarkson interns and graduates. I hope you'll take a serious look at starting or continuing your career or bringing your business right back here one day. Maybe, just maybe, 4 years from now. No matter what, Potsdam is always going to be a second home to you. We want you and your families to enjoy every second of your time here. So let me welcome you as our newest neighbors. We're here to support you and cheer you on. I'll leave you with one final suggestion. If you find something that needs fixing, whether here or elsewhere, go ahead and help fix it. Being a good neighbor means leaving a place a little bit better than when you found it. We know you can, because you are Golden Knights, and Golden Knights are problem solvers. The power of possibility is here in Potsdam, New York tonight. Congratulations, and let's go Tech.
Thank you, Alec. So Convocation marks the beginning of a new academic year, but it also marks the occasion to reflect on our university's history and the stories of our past. It's also the time to imagine what you would like to learn and change during your time here at Clarkson. First, I want to thank the Convocation Committee for being such a great team. Second, I'd also like to thank all the staff that make these type of events possible. The highlight of the Clarkson Convocation is the Van Sickle Endowed Lecture. The Kenneth J. and Arla Van Sickle Endowed Lectureship was established in 1992 through a generous bequest from the estates of Kenneth and Arla Van Sickle, who were dedicated to hard work and placed great value on higher education. This year's Van Sickle Lecture is set to be an unforgettable event as we welcome the inspiring Corey Cicchetti to campus. Corey will drive home the theme for the year, celebrating the power of local connections and the strength of the Clarkson Family Network, a community that stretches far beyond campus and connects across the globe. So all right, everyone, get ready. You're about to hear from someone who gets it. Not just the academic stuff, but the real life, how do I figure out what really matters kind of stuff. Corey Cicchetti, a professor at the University of Denver who's known for being one of the most popular and highest rated faculty teachers on campus. And seriously, students line up to take his classes in business law and ethics, not just because he's smart, but because he's real. Corey holds a law degree from Duke, a master's in religious studies, and a double bachelor's degrees in finance and economics, summa cum laude, all before coming back to Denver, where it started for him. He's won multiple teaching awards, and in 2023, he was named one of the top 50 undergraduate business professors in the country. But here's what makes Corey stand out. He's not just about grades and resumes. He travels the country to go over 300 cities so far, speaking to students just like you about things that really make an authentic life, to chase success that actually feels good on the inside. His book is called Inspire Integrity, And it's all about living with purpose, not pressure. Corey lives in Denver with his wife Jillian and their 2 daughters, but today he's here for you. So please give a warm Clarkson welcome to someone who's about to challenge you on how you think about success, Corey Cicchetti.
That was incredible. I didn't write that. Can you email that to me? Let's just use it. Parents, loved ones, I'm glad you're here. It's super cool that you're here. Students, give yourselves a hand. You did it. As you were walking in here, we were clapping for you out there, and a lot of you looked at me like, why are you clapping? I haven't done anything yet. Yes, you have. You're here, and you've made an excellent decision. I'm just going to tell you a few stories with the short amount of time I have, and through my stories, I want you to think about your life, what makes you up as a person, your character, your integrity. When the storms of life come, what makes you resilient and get back up? These are hard questions, and things are going to start moving quickly, and I don't want you to forget about those questions. So I was the first person in my family to go to college. Any other first-gen students here? Be proud. That's cool. You know, your parents can't give you a lot of advice. It was just my mom around, and I got my acceptance letter to college. I got into one university, and I read it, and I was really excited, so I showed it to her, and my mom read it, and she looks at me, and she goes, Corey, I can't believe you got into college at all. I'm like, that's not very nice. She goes, go down there and don't screw it up. You're our only hope for the family. And I said, I have a little sister. Why are you being so mean to me? But raise your hand if you're the oldest. Who's the oldest? Who cares about your little sister? If you're the oldest, it's on you. My oldest daughter is the one we dropped and learned how to change diapers with. It's a hard life to be the oldest. Who's the youngest? Okay, y'all have had a charmed life. My youngest daughter hasn't made, because we know how to be parents now. So I go down to college, and they put us in a room like this. It's 3 weeks in. The whole first year class is there. And the registrar comes walking in. That's the person who tells you whether or not you can graduate. Guy has 1,000 pieces of paper in his hand and literally hands one out to everybody. And on that piece of paper is every major at the university. He gets on the microphone and he goes, you can't leave this room until you pick a major, sign this form, and give it back to me. And I'm sitting there going, pick a major, I'm just happy to be here, right? So I stood up and I handed it back to him blank. I'm like, I don't know, man, I have no idea. He goes, listen, you can't leave till you sign this. I said, I don't know what to put on. He goes, I don't care what you put on there, just whatever you liked in high school, just circle that. And I said, you know, in high school I liked basketball and girls. It's not on the list. He goes, I don't care what you put, man, just circle something and give it back to me. So I sat down and I wanted to get out of there. I'm like, you know what, I'll just become a history major. I like to read, it'll be fun. And I had this voice in the back of my head though, and it kept saying to me, no, Corey, you can't do that. See, you're supposed to go to college to be rich. Raise your hand if you've had that voice. Anybody? The rest of you are lying to me. I'm the ethics speaker, don't lie to me. So now I'm looking through the sheet of paper to find a major to make me rich. Like the dumbest thing you could do. So I hand it back to him and I leave, whatever. Fast forward, now I'm a junior in college. All my friends are taking the LSAT. That's the test for what? Law school. Voice comes back, hey Corey, if you could just go to law school, you could be rich. Like there are way easier ways in life to be rich than to go to 3 years of law school. That's hard, right? So I go to law school. I went to Duke for law school because I like basketball. I chose my law school to go to basketball games. And it's a good law school and it was fun and I graduated, but I still didn't want to be a lawyer. But now I owe $150,000 in loans to the government. I don't even want to be a lawyer. So I'm interviewing at all these law firms in Denver, okay? And these people sitting across from me are lawyers there and they look like they want to cry. They look miserable. And I kept coming home to my wife like, I don't know, these people look really unhappy. She's like, maybe the next one will be better. So I go to this last interview and I'm gonna be there all day. And it's 8 in the morning and this woman's talking to me. She's a partner there. And she goes, Corey, I don't have any more questions for you, but we have 5 minutes left. And I get in trouble if I send you down the hall early, so do you have any questions for me? And students, every one of you in this room realizes like that's a good opportunity for you in an interview, right? That's where you should have a list of questions memorized. I didn't have any, but I had to say something because she was just staring at me. So I looked at her and I said, okay, tell me how much it pays. Which is like the one question you're not supposed to ask in the interview, right? But she looks at me and she starts going through the math. It was a lot of money, and at that point in my life, I was just a poor kid from Nowhereville, Colorado. And if I had $500 to my name, I felt like the richest person. Any of you right now wish you just had $500 and you're gonna pay me all this money? And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, it's what it is. I said, that's cool, I accept, I'll take it. You realize what I just did? I accepted a job that wasn't offered to me. Then she goes, well, you just asked me how much it paid, Corey. I'm not offering you a job. I just told you. She goes, look, I like you. And you seem like a really nice person, but they're never gonna hire you because you also seem really nervous. She goes, do you need to go to the bathroom? Ever been asked in an interview if you needed to go potty? So I have 2 little girls at home, so I ask that question all the time. Like, parents, I know you've said this to your kids. Hey, we're going to Target. Who needs to go to the bathroom? The potties at home are nicer than the potties at Target. I say that sentence every day at my house, but I was 25 and asked if I needed to go to the bathroom. So I said yes, just to get out of there. So I leave her office, I walk to the bathroom. It's a small door into a big room, and there's a man standing there. He's in a suit and tie. You can tell that he worked there. He's blocking the door to the bathroom. I can't get in. He looks at me, I look at him, and he's not moving. And finally he points at my chest and he goes, "You, I'm waiting here for you. Get in that bathroom." So I walk in there and he follows me like we're about to fight. So I walk to the sink, wash my hands for no reason. I don't need to be in there. This guy walks up and puts his arm around me. Ever had someone you don't know touch you in a bathroom? Hey, listen, that's a different lecture I'm not qualified for. I'm sure there's someone here who can deal with that. So then he starts to whisper into my ear, and there's no one in there, and he's whispering, and he goes, "Your name's Corey, right?" And he's creepy. So I look back at him, and I started whispering, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's got more information than I do. He goes, "You went to Duke Law School." He goes, "So did I. My name is Scott, and I work here, and we're supposed to stick together because we're alums." He goes, "I'm going to give you a piece of advice, and I'm going to save your career. I'm going to save your life." And he leans in, and he whispers, and he goes, "Don't come work here." And I was like, "Wait, what did you say?" He goes, "No, don't come work here." I said, "What?" He goes, "This is a terrible place to work, and these people that work here, these are horrible people, and you're going to hate this place, you're going to hate these people, and it won't be long before they hate you too. They're going to totally hate you." And I'm like, "I'm a nice person. What is going on?" He goes, they're going to make you keep a suitcase behind your door full of clothes, and it's not for when you travel, it's for when you sleep here in this skyscraper. And every family vacation you ever plan is going to get canceled right before you're supposed to go, so your family's going to get really mad at you. You're probably going to get a divorce or have an affair like everybody else that works here. But they go, "Corey, they're going to pay you a lot of money, but it's a trick." Now, those are interesting words. I'd like you to file that away for a second. And he goes, "Take my advice and run." He told me to run. Then he took his arm off me, and that guy literally ran out the door into the office building. And I never saw him again the rest of the day. Why? Because you don't put Scott on the official interview team. That dude is miserable. He doesn't get to interview people, right? So I'm just sitting there staring at a mirror. And every one of you in this room has been in the exact same situation I was in. It's just been a different room and a different mirror, hasn't it? And you've faced a choice that something inside of you tells you is wrong or bad for you or immoral or whatever, but you want what you believe lies on the other side of that decision. So you, like I, justify it away. And I tried to justify Scott away, and I said things to myself like, "Well, you know, that's just Scott. He's having a bad, I don't even know him." And I'm making character judgments about that. Every company has a jaded employee. I just happened to run into that guy in the bathroom. What are the odds, right? I'm doing the math. But really what I should have realized is he could have lost his job for going in there and saying that to me. I mean, I'd have fired a guy if I knew he was doing that. Which means what? He meant to be there. Which means what? He was telling the truth. And I took the job because I wanted the money and I wanted the prestige, and I'm about 2 days into that job and it started getting weird. Now I'm 6 months into that job and I'm walking around the halls at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. And I saw my boss there and I saw her boss there and I saw some 80-year-old man in the corner making photocopies with trembling hands, 3 a.m. on a Sunday. And I sat down in the hallway of this skyscraper in Denver and I said to myself, "Man, that guy from the bathroom was right." You ever had an epiphany moment with that sentence? I said, "I need to quit." But how can I quit a job like that? I just got it. And I finally had money. I just got married a month before. My wife liked the job, right? What am I going to do? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call my wife, and she's going to tell me it's okay to quit. Okay, because you got to call your brand new spouse. So if she was here with me today, you would like her. She's nice and sweet and supportive and friendly, but not this night. So I called her up. I said, "Honey, I'm going to quit this job. Are you okay with that?" And she says, "You're going to quit this job that all your friends would love to have?" She goes, "I had no intention last month of marrying a quitter." I was like, damn. And if I knew you were going to say that, I would have called my mom. I should have just called my mom. Then I had her on the phone, and she keeps talking. She goes, "Corey, you can't quit. What else do you know how to do? You don't have any other skills." And I'm like, "Do you love me?" She goes, "Listen, can you just stick it out for 6 more months? And if it's no good after 6 months, you quit. Then you won't be a short timer." Then she said interesting words to me. She goes, "And maybe it'll get better." Okay, I've taught ethics for 20 years. This is my 21st year. Here's what I know for an absolute fact. Never, ever forget this. Morale at any organization, whether it be a law firm, a bank, or a sorority, is never going to get better unless the people at the top want it to. And if the people at the top don't want it to, it's going to be miserable forever. Because what's going to happen in an organization like that is the junior people who seek high morale, they're just going to quit. They're going to leave. And then the junior people there who don't care about morale, they're going to stay. And the way it works in this country is those people fail their way to the top of organizations like that. And morale didn't matter to them then, and it won't matter to them now. And it was never going to change at that law firm because they made an economic argument to us, which is we're paying you more money than you're worth, just shut up and work. And I guess as a matter of economics, maybe that makes sense. But if you want to think of life in terms of economics, you know what you leave out? The dignity of the people that work for you. It's irrelevant. Their social life, their mental health, their physical health, their ability to be married, to be a good parent to their kids, all irrelevant. And it was never going to get better at that law firm. And to be fair to them, they didn't even pretend like it was. So 6 more months went by, and it wasn't better, it was worse, and I quit. I just walked into the boss's office, handed him my letter, and quit. So then I get a phone call from the University of Denver, 6 months later. Have no job, wife's not real happy, we're poor again. This guy goes, hey, this is John Holcomb from the University of Denver. I'm in the ethics department. I know you don't know me, but someone died down here last week. That's all he said to me. Like, what would you say back? I'm like, hey, John, that sounds terrible. Nice to meet you. It was a student who died? He goes, no, it was a faculty member who died. He was 87 years old. The guy had been at the university for 60 years, and he goes, you know, everybody dies. It's the middle of the semester. We got to get someone in there to teach the class. He goes, do you want to be a teacher? And you might as well have asked me to be an astronaut, right? So I'm like, no thanks, I'll pass. He goes, please come down here. There's no one else on my list. So just so y'all know, your speaker today, no one else applied. And so I said, when did he die, John? He goes, he died last Thursday. I go, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. It's too soon to interview for a dead guy's job. I'm just making stuff up. It's bad karma. Sounds good, doesn't it? He goes, think about it like this, Corey. Bad for him, but good for you. And I'm like, what kind of ethics department is this? Y'all are a bunch of pricks. What do you mean it's bad for him? That guy is dead. And he goes, can you just shut up and come down here to this interview? So I go down to this interview, and I'm in a horseshoe surrounded by 12 ethics professors. These people are lawyers, and they have PhDs. It's an intimidating enough room. And this guy looks at me, he goes, hey, you're going to have to teach ethics if you take this job. What do you know about ethics? And I looked back at him, and I wasn't trying to be a smart aleck. I just said, hey, man, I don't know anything about ethics. I went to law school. Let the quality of that answer sink in, right? So anyway, ended up taking the job to teach ethics. And I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this. And here's what I know after doing this for a long time. Honor codes in and of themselves don't carry much weight. 80% of college students admit to cheating. Over 90% of high school students admit to cheating. The last thing I would do if I was starting a university from scratch is create an honor code. Every company that's ever cheated, go look them up. Theranos, Enron, go down the list. They all have core values and mission statements. The only way it will ever matter is if every single person in this room first believes deep in your soul that being a good person matters. Do you believe that? Because if you don't believe that being a good person matters, words on a piece of paper will never convince you. And you know what your life's going to become? It's going to become math. And you're going to go, I know I shouldn't cheat, but everyone else is cheating. You ever said that one? Everyone else is getting good grades. My parents will get mad at me if I don't get good grades. College is expensive. I need to get a job. The economy's not really good. We live in a transactional world. And if you do math in a transactional world, ethics loses every time. Then you're going to grow up and you're going to get your first job and you're going to go, I know I should tell my boss this. This isn't right, but I really want her to like me. And I might need a letter of recommendation one day. I want to get a promotion. Ethics is never favored in a world where all people do is math. So I go listen to the speaker. I'm sitting on campus listening to a speaker, and I want to encourage you, when there's a speaker on this campus, you just go. You never know why you're there, just show up. This guy's name is John Bogle. He founded the mutual fund industry. He was a billionaire. And he gets up on stage and he goes, all we're going to talk about tonight is this story I'm going to tell you about a dog. We're just sitting there like, wait, what? But he's a billionaire. He's going to talk about whatever he wants, right? He goes, this is Cash the Racing Greyhound. He puts a picture up on the screen. He has won tens of millions of dollars for his owner. And the night before the biggest race of this dog's life, the dog and the owner are on the patio talking. And the owner looks at the dog and she says, hey, the biggest race is tomorrow. We're going to win. Are you ready to go? I'm so excited. And the dog looks back at her and says, you know what? I have to tell you something. I'm not going to run in that race tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm retiring. I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. And she says, wait, what? Wait a second, it's tomorrow. Are you hurt? Are you mad at me? Are you too old? She has a litany of questions. And the dog goes, it's none of that. No, it isn't. And she goes, well, tell me why then. I deserve to know. And the dog goes, okay, I've been thinking about my life lately. It's the same question I asked you at the very beginning. Do you remember that? And he said, ever since I was a puppy, all I've ever done is run and run and run around these dirt tracks. That's all I've ever done. And it finally occurred to me, those little white rabbits you have us chasing every day, they're not real. And I'm like, okay, who cares? It's a cute story, who cares? It's actually profound, but I didn't get it. It went right in one ear, out the other. Then he kept talking, and here's where he got me. I want you to listen carefully to this. The very last sentence I heard him say was this: you can never get enough of what you do not need to truly make you happy. And he just left. He set the microphone down in the thing, and he walked into the parking garage. And the audience was like, guess there's no questions. It was the weirdest leaving a room I've ever seen. And everyone left except for me. And I'm right there in the front row, and I stayed in that room for 2 hours, and I just started crying. And I said to myself, Corey, you have more money than any of your friends. I did. You have a more elite education than any of your friends. At that point in my life, I had 4 degrees from a university. You have a better job. You have a nicer house. You have a faster car. I had a brand new BMW. And I said to myself, hey, Corey, why aren't you happy? Y'all have had that conversation, haven't you? You've set a goal. You've climbed a ladder. You thought that climbing, and once you made it, you thought it would make you happy, and it didn't, did it? Here's a metaphor I want to tell you. If you're going to climb the ladder of success, you better make sure it's leaning against the right wall. And what an awesome day to hear that on your first day of college. Because you know what? I don't care about your ladder. I might be the only one who does. I care about your wall. And we have to start thinking about our walls, because all you've ever heard since you were little was, hey kid, climb as fast as you can. It's just been put in different words to you. Get the best grades you can. Be the captain of the basketball team, right? Be awesome at this. Be awesome at that. Be as many student groups as you can so you can get into college. And you're going to come here, and all you're going to hear is climb, 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 climb. I want you to be really careful with that. Identify your wall first. Then the climb will mean something to you, right? What matters deep in your heart? What are you really good at? What are you passionate about? And find places where your passions and your talents collide, and then you chase that. Okay, so it's 11 at night, and the custodians walk in, and this guy goes, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. You need to leave. We got to shut the room down, turn off the lights. And they kicked me out into the quad. So if you see one of your professors crying in the quad, give him a hug. And my life came into perspective that night, and I said, I was so ashamed of myself. I said, Corey, the world's been lying to you since you were little, and you have believed it, and I was so ashamed of myself. Here's some lies, okay? Have you ever believed this one? If I just had a little more money, I would be a richer person or a happier person. Have you ever said that to yourself? Okay, I like to prove things like a good lawyer beyond a reasonable doubt. I know a lot of really rich people who aren't all that happy. Do you? And my richest friends are not my happiest friends. Is that your plan? Like, is that your plan, to just climb to become rich and then you'll just magically become happy? Because it doesn't work like that. How about this one? If I was just a little prettier, if I was just a little more handsome, man, if I was more athletic, if I was a skinnier person, I would be happier. Okay, let's prove stuff again. I know a lot of pretty people who are miserable. Do you? I know a lot of handsome people who are miserable. My most athletic friends are not my happiest friends. Is that your plan? Well, if more people liked me, if I was more popular, if my grades were better, there's a lot of 4.0 students walking around this country who I wouldn't hire to mow my lawn. I want you to be really careful about what you're chasing. And to be clear, none of those things I just mentioned is bad. It's just fake. Money's not bad. It's bad if it defines you. Being good looking is fine. It's bad if it defines you. Do I think your grades matter? Of course I do. I'm a college professor. It's bad if it defines you. I need you to promise me you will identify your worth in the proper place. Your worth does not come from your grades. Your worth does not come from how good looking you are, how much money your parents have. Your worth does not come from what college you attend. Your worth comes from the dignity you possess as a human being. And the way you treat other people, the way you plug into your communities. Everyone's in those living and learning communities. I just saw those signs. Your worth is determined by how you plug into that. Your grades matter, just not for that. And we have a depression problem and an anxiety problem in this country because a lot of young people are misdefining where their worth comes from. And on day one of college, if someone would have said that to me, my life would have been so much smoother and somewhat better if I just would have listened to them. Go in here and climb the ladder, but make sure it's leaning against the right wall. So those things aren't bad I just mentioned, they're just fake. So what's real? The cool thing about my job is I just get to talk to people. And as diverse as we all are, we're also humans. And we care about 3 things. If you remember nothing else about my talk today, remember these 3 things. Every human alive wants 3 things. Number 1, peace and contentment in their heart. Would you call yourself a peaceful and contented person? And the cool thing about having me here today is this is all I do is I go around the country and do this, so I already know. There was a magazine that got to ask Americans a question. When you wake up in the morning, do you genuinely and consistently wake up happy? Deep in your heart, do you wake up happy over long periods of time? You know what's cool about that question? You have to take your worst days and throw them out. You take your best days, you throw them out, and you land at who you are at your core. You should answer that question to yourself right now. And every year I would sit and wait for the results because millions of people would answer the question anonymously. And every year it breaks your heart. 67% of Americans, that's the average, answer no, I don't. And I said to myself, how is it possible in this country that 70% of Americans don't wake up happy? Now, to be fair, one of the classes I teach is constitutional law, which used to be a fun class to teach. It's not so fun anymore. And America has some things it needs to atone for. Let me start a new sentence. There are also billions of people who would love to come to this country and have our bad days. And both of those sentences can be true at the same time. And I don't know anybody in this room, so I'm just going to say this to you, okay? If you can't find a way to genuinely and consistently wake up happy here, you are chasing something fake. And I would stop because it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work. Please don't exempt yourself from this. No, Corey, you're wrong, dude. I'm the only person. My money's going to make me happy. I'm the only one. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Try to find some peace. There's a famous quote that's attributed to Socrates that says, "Beware of the barrenness of an overly busy life." And if Socrates wrote about how to bake a pie, you could ignore him. If one of the greatest thinkers of all time tells you that if you become so busy, you're going to become lonely, I would probably listen. How about you pick 2 things on this campus that you love and do them with all of your heart? Pick 2 groups on this campus and plug in with all of your heart. You don't need to do 50. I know that's what high school was like. Don't do that here. Just find 2 things that you love and plug in. Don't build a 4-page resume that if I was to weigh it, would weigh nothing. Build a 1-page resume that means something. Because if you ever interviewed at a company that I work at and I was interviewing you, I would ask you 2 questions. Question 1, I would ask you to define the word character for me. Because I'm not going to hire anybody who thinks that's a stupid question. And the second question I would ask you is, how many people's lives are better because you went to Clarkson? And if you struggle to give me a few names after 4, however many years here, then that's a huge problem. I want someone's life to be better because you're sitting in these seats today. The mayor said it, it was beautiful. Leave it better than you found it. So find some peace, please. Wouldn't it be nice for once in your life to wake up in the morning truly content and happy? The second thing everybody wants, this is true for everybody in this room, is a small group of really good friends. This is your chance to find that. Notice I didn't say a big group of crappy ones. And the fact that we have to differentiate those 2 statements says something about our society. So let me give you the prompt. Do you right now have 3 people who would rush into your life when everybody else rushes out? That's all you need. If you read books about people that live the longest in this world, and people write books about this, they do like 6 things in common. They exercise, they eat well, and one of the 6 things is always, in every single book I've ever read about it, a small group of people who care about them. So I want to encourage you to have a huge network. Okay, social media, have the biggest network you can. And you should try to be friends with as many people in this room as you can. These are your future peers, right? Future people who could hire you one day, but you also need a soul circle. Find a soul circle here. If you were getting married tomorrow, these 3 to 5 people would be standing next to you at your wedding. And that should come before studying for any test or your next workout or the next party downtown. Like, no, man, find those people. If there's 8 billion people, whatever, in this world, man, you can find 3. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good. You're not perfect. You're just trying to be good. The third thing everyone wants is to be a good person. That's a pretty full life, man. If you could wake up happy, you could have a soul circle of 3 friends, and you could be a good person. You've won. And then if you're also rich, I don't care. You know, go make as much money as you want. Like, please don't walk out of here today and say, man, that speaker told me to be poor, fat, and ugly. I didn't say that. I'm asking you to be happy. Every one of you in this room was born with a conscience. There's nothing you could do about it. You're just born that way. You were also born with a mute button. And that's good, because without the mute button, you'd just be a robot. Remember how hard it was for you to lie when you were 5? Remember how hard it was for you to be mean to someone when you were 7 or 8 years old? Like, 2nd graders aren't necessarily mean to each other. We learn how to do it by pushing mute so many times. My daughters are precious gifts from God. I'm going to pick on Sophie, my oldest. She's just learning how to lie. And she's a terrible liar. Anyone have an 11-year-old in your life? 11-year-olds are the worst liars ever, because when Sophie lies, her whole body just wiggles and moves. You know exactly what's happening. Her head says lie, and her heart says don't, and she can't reconcile those two things, so she just wiggles. And I look at her every time. I'm like, honey, are you lying to me? And every single time she just goes, yeah. I'm supposed to keep lying. Why are you telling me? You know, when I lie, you can't even tell. What I realized teaching ethics is I want a conscience like Sophie. I want an 11-year-old's conscience again. I don't want her brain. I don't want her emotions. If I had my daughter's conscience, my life would be so easy. Hey, Corey, should you lie? Why? Should you step on people's heads to get to the top? Who would do that, Daddy? That convicts me. Should I make an exception for myself that I'm not willing to give to others? Seriously, I'll make a confession to you. I'm a no better person than any of you in this room, I promise. Left to my own devices, I would be selfish and arrogant and mean. The only reason I might be different from you is because I've chosen to be a different type of man because of my kids' faces, because of the job that I have, because of the husband I want to be, the dad I want to be. I've had to choose a different path. So it's audience participation time. Close your eyes. Who is that for you? Seriously, who serves in that place for you? You got to have someone who can serve in that place for you. Man, they're going to hold you accountable with love and compassion. They love you. If you don't have someone, how about this? Faith, philosophy, find something. Because if you don't, it's too easy to follow the sheep off the cliff of a transactional world. Find someone here, man, who's going to keep you honest. My kids do that for me. Here's the only definition of integrity you'll ever need. You're the same on the inside as the out. That's all that it means. If a structure has integrity, it looks strong, it is strong. If a person has integrity, they look one way, they are that way. When your inside and your outside are in conflict, you will never be happy. If you play yourself off as this, but really you're that, you will never be happy. I want to encourage you, have integrity. That's your only chance. Aristotle said human beings have a purpose. Kind of like a knife has a purpose. The purpose of a knife is to cut well. If your knife is dull, it's not fulfilling its purpose. The purpose of a human being is to flourish. And he said there's only one way to flourish. Catch this. And that's to be a good person. He didn't give a multiple choice list. You can flourish if you are A, rich, B, professionally successful, C, good. It was just C. And again, I can prove it to you. Why don't you think right now about the person in your life who lies the most? Is that person flourishing? No. Why don't you think about your friends who cheat on relationships or cheat in school? Are they flourishing? Remember that fortune cookie, cheaters never prosper? No, of course not. And school bullies are bullies because they're miserable. Ever seen that saying, hurt people hurt people? Just channeling, it's Oprah channeling Aristotle, right? I would love you to flourish in your life. I have 2 daughters. Okay? You're going to run the world that they live in. I need you to go make a dent in the universe, but I need you to do it as a good person. And please don't tell me, no, Corey, I'm a leader. That doesn't mean anything to me. There's all kinds of good leaders, all kinds of bad leaders out there. I want you to be a character-infused person and take that into your life, into your leadership. Man, please, I want you to flourish. It means you have to be good, not perfect, just good. I'll leave you with this. There's a poem attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson called Success. And when you go home, you should print that out and just keep it on your desk, okay, for the rest of your time here. And again, if Ralph Waldo Emerson writes about how to bake a pie, you can ignore him. I have no idea if he knew how to do that. If Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about what makes a human being successful, I would probably listen. If Socrates tells you that if you're too busy, you're going to be lonely, I'd probably listen. If Aristotle tells you that if you're not a good person, you'll never flourish, I'd probably listen to this stuff. And in that poem, you can read it. There's no mention of money. It doesn't come up. And there's no mention of being professionally successful. It's not in there. There's no mention of being good looking. The poem's all about contentment and relationships and character. Well, in the very middle of the poem is the key. I'm sure you'll take a bunch of English classes here, and poets used to write like this. What you put in the middle is usually the most important. It's called a chiasm. So some of the Psalms in the Bible are written this way. A lot of poems are written this way. They don't have a lot of space. So they stuff the most important thing into the middle. And what he writes about in the middle of this beautiful poem about what makes a person successful is the concept of legacy. What a perfect time to think about that. And it's not legacy like what's going to be written on my tombstone when I die. I don't ever think about that. You know what I think about every day though? If I was to look back 5 years from now, did my life mean anything? Did leaving my kids and coming all the way out here to speak to you today, did it mean something? I look at legacy in terms of inches, not touchdowns. That's how I want you to think about it. Now catch the grammar of his sentence. He says, you make a difference by a healthy child, comma, a garden patch, comma, or a redeemed social condition, period. Go back to second grade, okay? Your grammar teacher in second grade gives you a paragraph, gives you a sentence, and at the end of that sentence are a bunch of phrases, and each phrase is separated by commas, and after that last comma there's an or. Does anyone remember what that means? Let me make it easier for you. When you were little, your dad said, hey, this summer do you want to play basketball, football, or tennis? Does he care? It's called the rule of equivalency, meaning everything on that list is worth the same. And once I figured that out, y'all, my life changed. Because ever since I was a kid, I was always taught, if you don't do the equivalent of curing cancer, you're a loser, Corey. Right? If you don't have the best grades, if you don't date the prettiest girl, if you're not the captain of the basketball team, if you don't go to the best college you can, so you get into the best grad school that you can and get the best job you can, so you can move into the best neighborhood, so you can show everyone how good you are, then you're a loser. I've been implicitly told that my entire life. And I realized when I read that poem that none of that is true. And I said to myself, I don't need to cure cancer. I just need to be a good dad. Because we need more good dads. Because all I do is go around the country and talk to young people, and they want their dad, and they want their mom, and they want people to plug into their lives. That matters. Now, if someone needs to cure cancer too, that would be a redeemed social condition. I would rather be a team of 5,000 people than one person who gets a divorce because of it. But no one in this room is curing cancer. Maybe someone over there is curing cancer. I'm not. And you don't have kids. So what do you have? You have the middle thing. You have a beautiful garden patch. I've never been here before. This is beautiful up here. Y'all, you have this beautiful garden patch. This is so cool. I go to a lot of universities. They don't look like this. They don't have this. Is really neat. They don't have cool traditions like this and people who care about them like this. You have a garden patch here, and I want to ask you to tend to it. Tend to it. Care about this. I hate when students say, you know, Professor C, I'm going to go change the world. Hey, man, how about first you stop fighting with your roommate? Right? Let's don't change the world, y'all. Let's try to get along with people here. Let's fix the garden patch. Then go do a redeemed social condition. And that's going to require you to look at life a little different. Don't put your job ahead of your family. Promise me you won't put your job ahead of your family. When you grow up, man, you have kids, do not put your job ahead of your family. That's a huge mistake. Remember what matters. I want you to go make a dent in the universe, just not at their expense. I'm going to end with this. Since I started with tombstones, let's end with tombstones. On no one's tombstone is it ever written, ever, here lies John Doe, he was rich. Find me one. Here lies Jane Doe, she was really pretty. Like back in her 20s, you should see her now. She's ugly, she's dead. On everyone's tombstone, it says something like, here lies John Doe, loving father. Here lies Jane Doe, loving spouse. Here lies John Doe, beloved member of a community. That's what it says. And if it's going to say that on your tombstone when you die, shouldn't it matter to you now? And I want you to think about how being content and having relationships and being a good person plays into your future. Okay, I wish you all the best of success. God bless you all.
Amazing words. Please give Corey another round of applause. And Corey has been gracious enough to host and meet following the convocation in the Chill Commons area. Take advantage of that. Now, we invite everyone to attend. We now invite you to join in singing of the Clarkson Alma Mater by Clarkson's Associate Vice President, Institutional Communications and Reputation Strategy, Tara Trafiletti. The lyrics will appear on the screen. So now, faculty and the stage party may recess out through the Zamboni entrance at Chio Lobby. Students, please stay seated. Abby Bates, the pep band president, is now going to invite her to the stage to kick off the evening with traditional pep band bang, and as we recess out. So thank you for being here.
Okay, hello everyone. As you just heard, my name is Abby Bates and I am the president of the Clarkson University Pep Band. You can see some of us over there, not everyone. So you'll see us at a lot of events around campus, but mostly at hockey games where we're gonna play music, maybe cheer for our team, make a lot of noise. We're generally there to pep up the environment. Our members ranged from seasoned musicians to people who have literally never touched an instrument before. So, you know, playing the cowbell, hitting a bass drum, literally standing there and clapping your hands. They're kind of hard to mess up, and they're all very welcome with us. So, you know, if you're interested, come check us out. I didn't even think I liked playing music, and I definitely didn't watch any hockey before I came to Clarkson, but look where I am now. You know, that's kind of the beauty of Clarkson. You really never know where you're going to find yourself, but you can always find us over there in Section 17 of Chile Arena. So we'll be at the Activities Fair Sunday night. If you want to come check us out, it'd be great to have more members. And before anything else, you know, we're a great group, and we'd really love to have more people. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And we hope that you've had a wonderful introduction to Clarkson. Know that it really only gets better from here. So have a great school year, and let's go Tech.
Hello, hello, testing. Hello, hello. After that song, my mic's dead. You think they can hear me?
We're not going to have one in the student section. All right. Thanks to the Clarkson Pep Band. My name is Josh Bartel. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director. I graduated in '96, and I wanted to welcome you to the Clarkson Student Section. The faculty are gone. This is the Clarkson Student Section here from about Section 19 over here. And imagine you're in a game. It's packed. It's full. We need you as a student section to help us to continue to be a national power. All right. We need your support from the student section in all of our home games and the field, course, court, pool, slopes, and trails. Here at Sheila, our women will host UConn early in the October, and then we'll have a whiteout in the men's home opener versus North Dakota, which is already close to a sellout. To get you ready to torture opposing goalies and keep this building buzzing, we got to get loud with a Let's Go Tech. We've got our decibel meter here to see if we can get up close to what like a home game will be. So band, let's get it going right now. Come on, stand up, get going. We got to hear it. All right, stop. You got up to 82. All right, 120 on that is what a normal student section would sound like. Okay, let's get up to we got to get to 110 at least. Let's go. Start ringing the bell. Ring the bell. All right. We got to 98. That's good. All right, that's a good start. Listen, be proud of where you're from. Be proud of where you're going to school. It was hard to get in here. It's going to be hard sometimes academically, but the heart is worth it. The heart is worth it when you come here in a couple weeks, when this floor is back down, the career fair is here, and you see 200 plus companies. The heart is worth it when we're up here cheering and we beat. This year we play Ohio State, we play Penn State, we sweep Harvard, we sweep Dartmouth, Brown. Okay, the heart's worth it when you walk out of here in 4 or 5 years when you graduate. Okay, so come to our games, have fun, scream your head off, make the goalie that's right here miserable for 3 hours of his life. Okay, Thank you. Have a great rest of the weekend. Good luck Monday with classes. Let's go, Tech.
Good job. First year students, we are now at the end of Convocation. I would like you guys to give your parents and families a round of applause for coming out for you today. You guys are now going to make your way out this Zamboni entrance over here near the pep band. You're going to go to the tent outside of the arena to retrieve your class shirt. Your RA will reach out to you on your GroupMe message chat to tell you about your next meeting space. Transfer students, please proceed to the meet and greet with our guest speaker Corey in the concourse. Everyone else, head to the tent and grab your shirt. Let's go Tech!